trying to stay chic. I'll be everything that you know you can be.
What's up, world, family, folks near and far? Thanks so much for hanging out with me. It's another time to stay funky and stay chic, learning how to unleash your creativity and discover how to break out your comfort zone. I believe we're created to create, and creativity is the ability to make or bring into existence something new. Whether it's a solution to a problem or a method or an artistic object, it involves forming novel and valuable ideas or works using one's imagination. And that could be intangible like ideas or theories, or tangible like inventions or artwork. Creativity isn't just for artists. It's a vital skill in all areas of life, from problem solving at work to tackling everyday challenges. It's the ability to think outside the box and approach problems from a new angle. Many think creativity is a natural talent, but anyone can develop it. To get a better understanding and some insights about creativity, I sat down to talk with my brethren, Charles and Craig, during our regular Sunday meetup for dinner and cigars at the Old Towne Inn in Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
Yo, fellas, thanks so much for being here with me. I got Charles and Craig, and just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about learning how to unleash the power of your creativity. What made you creative? How did you know you were creative? What are you creative with, about? I think I thought about this because early on, you know the quote that says, Jack of trades, master of none. People will always quote that, just that partial part of that idiom, instead of saying the entire thing, which is Jack of trades, master of none, though oftentimes better than master of one, which the expression suggests that having a variety of skills can be more advantageous than specializing in just one. I kind of came up in a time where people thought you was extra. If you bake cakes, you wash cars,
and you could sing?
Yeah. It was like, do one. But then even that culture was still, they were then leaving jobs to pursue a dream or a creative idea that had not blossomed or developed. So now they find themselves crashing, understanding there's got to be a unique balance of how you create, what you create, the tangible versus the intangible, things like that. So I just wanted to find out, like, what has been your role, your idea? What are you, as it relates to creative? What do you do that you create and you give back to the world? What problem does it solve? What niche does it meet? How does it help? How does it help the world? Charles?
Thanks. It's a great question. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Sure.
I think being younger, you don't know that you're being developed into what it is until you get older.
That's good.
And as far as I can go back and I think about my calling, I didn't call it, it called me. I started doing sound in church when I was 9, 10 years old. When I went to college and to play in the jazz band, my professor was up putting the sound system together. And I said, hey, I can do that. He said, go sit down, Sonny boy. I said, Sonny boy?
Sonny boy? That sound like a...
Oh yeah, it was in
another era.
Oh yeah.
You was in the South, son.
Listen.
Sonny.
And I said, no, I can do it. I said, I'll tell you what, if I put it together, you give me an A. He said, if you don't, I'm gonna flunk you. I said, cool, no problem. So he had already started putting the sound system and the mics and stuff up. And he said, I want you to have this up before I wave my baton for class. I said, cool. So everything that he did, he unplugged it and threw it in the floor. Okay. So I had to start all over. Okay. And by the time he waved his baton, I was sitting in the chair, sitting back. I'm ready. I put it together. And so, needless to say, I didn't study in jazz band. I was the audio engineer for jazz band.
Okay.
In college. And so, even in college, pastors' kids or people that played at church, they knew that they had sound systems. They knew I did sound, or they found out that I did sound. I would go to their churches and fix their sound or do sound at church. And so it has been an amazing journey. And so I skipped 9 years old and went to college only because even from my earlier years, I was still doing sound. I was doing live recordings. I was doing sound for Winston-Salem Symphony Orchestra, 150-piece orchestra, 80-piece orchestra at 13, 14 years old. And so,
Wow.
it may be some of your people out here may know this gospel song, No Greater Love.
Yeah.
Jesus went to Calvary.
Yeah, we know.
So I came from that church where the minister of music at that time, his name was David Allen. His name is David Allen.
Yeah.
And he wrote that song. And that song allowed him to travel all over the world. And he took me with him doing sound because he would do workshops. And he wanted his sound to be right. And so here we are. I'm 57 years old. And I've been doing it this 40 plus years.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because it puts in perspective that creativity is a skill that can be cultivated.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very lofty. People think, oh, I'm just good at this, or I just do this. But it is a skill that can be cultivated, and we're born with it and the potential of it. But there's also a matter of learning how to refine it and grow the skill.
Mm-hmm.
So is that where you were going from the time of 9 to 13 up to 57?
Yeah. And what I always say is, it is the thing that I would do for free, but it's the thing that celebrates me, honors me,
Okay.
and respects me, and pays me.
Nice. And that comes into the monetization of your creativity, taking a hobby to a business.
Yeah.
A lot of times people get stuck in that hallway. Like, I do this good and I like this and I'm well at it, but I don't really want to sell it. I don't feel like dealing with the business of it. And at the end of the day, I don't think everything you do creatively needs to necessarily become a business, but I think because it's a skill you develop, it's something that can sustain your life.
Yeah.
And there's a matter, like in your point, there's a matter of cultivating it, refining it, and growing it along the way, opposed to just having a skill set and it being stuck in time.
Yeah.
And a small group celebrates it, but the world can really benefit from it.
Yes.
What about you, Craig?
Again, to echo Charles, thank you for having us. Really appreciate it. I kind of came in, I kind of walked in backwards into it, if you will. From a young age, I was always inquisitive. My mom would always tell the story that she'd go buy me a toy, and within a day or so, I would have taken the toy apart and created something else with it.
Oh,
So it was always, how does this work? Why does this work? What is this?
okay.
Growing up in church, being a church boy, there was always something technical going on that, you didn't really notice unless you were paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So even still, in church, what is this? What is the microphone? I hear the drums, but I hear it coming through the speakers. How is it coming through the speakers? And I would always just gravitate and ask the question, why? And, as life would have it, has a way of putting you in connection with people, whenever the time is right for you. Not necessarily when you think it is, but when the time is right.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up in different churches, I would eventually, meet whoever the technical person was. They may have just been responsible for just, turning something on, or they may have been, someone like Charles that, knew the ins and outs, and that was their role and that was their job. And I just kept asking the question why. And eventually over time, I kind of walked in backwards because I was more concerned with the technical side, the analysis of things, more so than the creativity side. So I didn't really discover that creative aspect of me until I got connected with the right people.
Okay.
That helped me to identify, like, no, there really is a creativity to this thing. It's not just a button, a knob, or a fader, you know. And the more I began to embrace it, the more I began to discover just how powerful my creativity really could be, because it was more impactful in ways that I just never realized.
Yeah. That's interesting. Have you ever seen people who were creative at a younger age or time in life and just fell off? They have it, but you don't know why they didn't, go any further. I often think about people like that, and I think the challenge of that is learning how to break out of the comfort zone, impose restraints. And you said something key, like socializing creators. I think going back to when I said, jack of all trades, and people felt like it was too much. I found it different when I started socializing with creators, because there is a way creatives think. We all have our process, but there is a way and there's an atmosphere that even if our process and approach is different, that atmosphere is still very comfortable for us to foster ideas and creativity. And when I would meet with artists, creative types of any kind, because I pull from all inspiration, I realized they think differently about doing things. Like if you have artists who are actors, if they don't have a set gig, they're doing something else. I met a young lady years ago. She's an actor. She does a lot of live theater, but when she wasn't necessarily on stage, she was doing voiceovers. And you're told to be in one lane, but they kind of all mesh and cross, even our connection.
Right.
Background, me coming up in church, in music specifically, and in radio. I say it all the time. Charles and I were in the room for many a year at the same time,
right,
probably contributing to the same artist, just in a different way. Me as a personality, me working at radio representing the end product, him producing it, and then him live on site creating the sound. It's just amazing how that was always flowing. And this has been many years. I've been doing music since I was 13. I got early in the church singing and transitioned, started doing some other things around the city. And I didn't want to sing. That was just, Mom made me go to church and go to choir. And I realized, I can sing a little bit.
Right.
But that was the doorway. That was a doorway into working in the industry, connecting with artists. But creativity isn't just for artists. Again, it's a vital skill for all areas of life, from problem solving to tackling everyday challenges at work. It's the ability to think outside the box and approach problems with a new angle. And I did that in the work that I do. I do it now. I realize everything that started then is working now.
Right.
In my daytime job, even though it is not necessarily artistic and creative, I have a creative approach to problem solving and engaging our customers and how we present the work that we do with my staff. And it's just amazing that all of it makes sense. Charles said, and he said, your life is preparing you for it. And I don't know about you, but for me, I was just doing what I knew to do. Yeah. I was doing what I thought was fun. I was doing what I was doing because people responded to it and they were interested, and I believed it. It was proven, and then it landed me in places where I realized I did work for this. I belong here because I can do this. I'm creative enough to be here. And then I was also smart because I was in a lot of places where I didn't know what to do, but I knew how to be quiet and listen. I listened and I learned that kind of workflow. So
And I think
Yeah.
that's what's important as creators, that we have to listen.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times the information is poured out. And you take a little bit here, you take a little bit of this from one person, this from the next person, and you add it to you, and you tweak it, put some sauce on it,
Mhm.
and it's your sauce.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's very much that. In having this conversation and this thought about people being creative, and I'm going to just shift this about, and I was probably slow to come to this part of life or thought. There are people that God has gifted to heal people that deal with trauma, that deals with just stuff.
Yes, sir.
And our bodies carry the trauma with us. And if somebody is in tune, they can touch you in a healthy way and heal, or start the process of healing or the trauma. And I just think that's just so yummy that God will trust you with healing to heal.
Wow. So what's interesting about what you said is I think I said that in like episode 2 of the podcast. I think I was talking about healing, but I touched on episode 1 where I was talking about my why.
Okay.
That's why Funky but Chic exists, to initiate those discussions, to start a thought process of healing, to start a thought process of what is my creative point of view, to start a process of why am I here, what's my, all those things. Like, I don't intend to provide all antidotes and messages and way out. What I want to do is provoke dialogue, ideas, thinking for your inner man that you now begin to work out moving forward. And I believe even in creativity, we create things that solve problems, that answers questions, and give people a way through to the next place in life. And that is the reason why this podcast exists. Of course, I did radio for years, and it would be a natural rollover to do a podcast, but I took a long time to get here because I was like, what do you gotta say?
Right.
Like, I say a lot of things.
Right.
And I think I have a lot of things to say. But I also think I have a defined skill set, and then there's a broad scope of me being aware of other ideas and areas in life. And so for me, I wanted to bring that to the podcast.
That's good.
I wanted
That's
anybody
good.
listening, like now with creativity, you know, your thing may not be the big thing. Whatever the big thing is.
Right.
Creativity is creativity, and it comes into existence so you can make something new.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, and I think it's important. That's good, Charles. That's really good.
That's good stuff.
That's because there is this connection that we all have as creatives, one to another. We all have it, and whether it is a skill set or idea, it can be honed and developed as a creative idea. And that's why we're here. And I want people to unleash the power, the most craziest ideas.
Yeah.
Find a way to develop it.
Yeah.
Hang out with creatives. Take some classes. Take some courses.
Right.
Shadow somebody. And learn what that means for you. What say ye, Craig? That's good.
I've been thinking about it. And I know he called on you. It's just been sitting just in my, and we talk about frequency all the time.
Yes.
And we all have it in us.
We do.
And when that frequency is fine-tuned to a place where within you have to receive it first.
Yes.
You have to acknowledge that
Yes, sir.
you are, people are calling the energy or their vibe and all
Yes.
that.
Yes.
It's a flow that's endless.
Absolutely.
The Bible says out of your mouths flow rivers of water.
Yeah.
There's a place that
Which water represents life.
is life.
That's yes, sir.
And, you know, if you go take a MRI or AKG, EKG, and they put that machine on you, you'll hear your body living, and you'll hear the tones in your body, the sounds
Okay.
in your body that's flowing through your blood veins,
Yeah.
that's flowing through your organs,
Yeah.
and it's only identified to who you are. It's like your fingerprints.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated about sonar, you know, the submarines. So when you go get a CAT scan, they use the same kind of technology that can tell if something is off in your body. Because there's an echo that'll come back quicker than it going to hit the solid surface. So if you got a broke bone in your body, it'll send a certain sound.
Right.
So just think, you ain't physically got to have a broke bone in your body, but the trauma made something inside of you broke. And so it's a sound that's in you. When people speak and they mad and they angry, or if they happy or they
We're
sad.
talking strong.
I'm talking strong.
Come on.
It shows up.
Come on.
It shows up because it's how it's flowing through your body.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, it's all of the creativity that is being tapped, that isn't being tapped, that we see it all the time. You know, we got one person in our family. They said, "Oh, leave him alone. He's just off." And
Yeah.
they come to sit down. They go feed him.
Yeah.
They leave him alone. But we've been dealing with mental illness for a long time. And so, but I guarantee you give them some music, they in a
Yeah,
space.
it's about finding what
Yeah.
really is frequency.
It is.
You say something about the body. I think that's interesting. I remember I was at the doctor one time, and you know when they do the stethoscope and they tell you to not breathe.
Yeah.
And I just was curious one time. I said, "Why do you want me not to breathe?" They said because when you breathe, the movement inside distorts what they're listening for.
Yep.
So when you breathe, whatever happens when you're taking in air, exhaling air, it's happening inside, and they needed to be still so you can get a clear read. And so that's so interesting about the whole sound and sonar, and that's, you know, that's your resting place as it relates to sound and its frequencies.
Let me drop this nugget real quick.
Drop that nugget.
You are not disposable. You were supposed to be here. I had a hard time accepting
Okay.
because, you know, whether you call it culture, whether you call it life, whatever, however you want to quantify it, sometimes you get to a place where you feel because of who I am, I'm using air quotes, I have to do X, Y, and Z. I'm responsible for X, Y, and Z. I got wife, kid, responsibilities. I have to make sure that these things are taken care of.
Right.
This must be done.
Right.
You are not intended to be disposable. You are more than your responsibility. But you end up negating your responsibility if you don't take responsibility for yourself.
And sometimes people also weaponize their responsibilities to avoid cultivating their creativity. Like, I believe we were created to create. And just because you have family and other obligations that you must meet does not mean that you can negate the fact. I think a lot of times people's frustrations about life not being as fulfilling, and all I do is go to work or chase the kids or take care of the family, it's because there is still something nagging at them to come out of them to impact the world. I believe that is, I think that is kinetic, creative.
Absolutely.
Exposure.
Yes. Some kind of dissonance. They just like, I'm not doing what I want to do the way I want to do it. And they always compare it against, well, I don't have the time. I'll go back to this podcast. My work days are heavy. I don't want to be bothered with nothing else when I'm done.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't let me rest. And then it wouldn't let me rest on top of the fact that my support system never let me down. Charles, my consultant engineering, Proud of you, black man. Let's go. Let's do it. Making provisions, making sure our studio was up. This is the board you need. This is what you need. Try this. Go this way.
Right.
Izzy, my producer, been with me for a while. I got you, brother. Whatever you need. This is what we're gonna do. You come to the studio. I mean, so at some point, if I wanted to make an excuse or weaponize my other commitments, at some point I had to honor my adult relationship. That's another show. Look. I had to honor because people were showing up for me. And there was a time in life that they weren't. There was a time they were letting me down. And now that I'm finding that God has caused things to come into place and people are showing up and they ain't letting me go, like, what you doing? The podcast dropped. I had a good friend, Troy. He was like, so what are we doing with the podcast? When are we releasing? Had to give him a date because I had been moving the date based on my convenience. So I set a date and I worked towards that date. And I told everybody, no matter what we do, that's the date we're going to start. So again, that creativity is creating something original or unique by using your own talents and skills.
Yeah.
And everybody has that. Like you said, you're not disposable. Everybody has. And sometimes the creativity, I don't want people to be overwhelmed. You don't have to create a business. Sometimes you just need to create and get things out of you. If you cook, if you sew, if you draw, if you construct, like these things I think it's another energy that just comes out of your life that gives you meaning and value and helps you upgrade the work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's good. Upgrading the world. That's the same way, like our meeting we had the other night.
Yeah. Yes.
About writing instruments. It's all around us.
It is ever present. We had a meeting with this gentleman out of the local area, and he creates writing instruments. Mm-hmm. Beautiful writing instruments. And Charles shared some pictures with me maybe two and a half months ago. As soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, that's great. I love it. So we finally got a chance to meet with him and his wife the other day. And I was thinking of him too, and I thought about the creativity. He works, I believe he's a military personnel, but he just wants to create. And you can tell he wants to push it and move it, but he doesn't want it to be so heavy. That doesn't mean he can't create. And they're out of the Bowie area, and the product is called Lens and Loathe, Lathe. And they're beautiful writing instruments, as well as some other accessories in that field. I think they're on Instagram. You can find them under that. But it's all around. Everybody's doing it. It's just a matter of people identifying the skill and honing it, like moving it forward. Like, you're a great cook. Okay, maybe you don't want to open a restaurant, but there's nothing wrong with getting a certificate or going to Serve Safe so you can understand how to store food, and you have a certificate, and you know that if you ever decide to do something, you now have that training that you don't mix certain foods, you don't store them a certain way,
right? You
clean them and sanitize them a certain. All those things are important. Opposed to just saying, "Oh, we just do it out of the kitchen." Well, I don't know how you live. Food may be good, but you got animals on the. Yeah, I mean, and not to discount anybody's ability, but I'm just saying that separates you. But it also, I think, could bring you fulfillment to do just a little more than you're doing. And I just want anybody that's grabbing a hold of this message, just don't be afraid to create, to develop that, to identify what problem you may solve. Product or services, intangible could be an idea, thought, theory of some kind, but don't be afraid to tap into that little it thing that's always nagging at you, that you feel like you do a little better than anybody else or just as good as somebody else. That I think that's that thing. Y'all agree with that kind of energy?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's really key that happens, and it's essential. And again, that's why I say no artist, not just artists. People think creative is always artistic, vocal, writing, drawing, illustration of some kind. The creativity is everywhere. We're sitting in chairs. We're using equipment.
Yeah.
We're smoking great cigars.
Yes.
That have been created. For our enjoyment and for our fellowship.
Indeed.
Gentlemen of the Leaf, we are here.
Brothers of the Leaf.
Yes, we are. And so our world is built off creation. Everything we see, somebody had an idea. Just look around you. Everything you see that you access, that you engage, was an idea. Somebody took out of their mind and with their hands and other tools constructed. That's creativity. Guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
This was good. We'll be back again. Y'all keep it right here. Y'all know how we do. Y'all gotta hang out with us a little more often. But all these experiences are things we didn't know we needed, but you know what they do? You just stay funky. Peace and shit. Peace.
Creativity is a skill that can be cultivated. We are all born to be creative and with creative potential, and it's only a matter of learning how to refine and grow the skill. Let your mind wander, try new things, listen to music, and take advantage of semi-conscious states like meditation or spiritual practices to access your creative potential and find brilliant ideas. Activities like walking or journaling also can help spark new ideas. You should seek out inspiration from nature, creative people, and innovative environments. Attend workshops to collaborate with like-minded individuals and expose yourself to fresh perspectives that can push your creative boundaries. Socialize with creatives so you can create. Also, train your brain to be more creative. It allows you to enhance the function of your brain and strengthen the areas associated with creativity and problem solving. We are all creative geniuses. It doesn't matter if you're a technical professional who values logic or if you think you don't have an ounce of artistic ability. You do have creativity in you. You just gotta hone it. And just to keep you on task so you can believe what you're afraid to believe, here's one of my favorite quotes. It's never too late to be what you might have been. That's by Mary Ann Evans, publicly known as George Eliot. George Eliot was an English novelist, poet, journalist, and translator from the 1800s. Today's show is powered by the Alapattmas Baptist Church, my childhood church, where I joined the youth choir and creativity blossomed and sparked, and I began to speak publicly and sang a little bit and all the things, but it gave me the courage and the to become who I am.
To be cool, let the world know it's you. To be healed, to be loved, never low. Rise above, rise above. Gotta stay funky, gotta stay chic, gotta stay chic, yeah. And be everything that you know you can be, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Gotta stay funky, gotta stay chic, and be everything that you know you can be.